On today's video, we're competing in the Chris Balasquez Memorial Barbecue Competition. The winner gets an automatic bid to the American Royal, one of the largest barbecue competitions in the world. We're excited to show you guys this one, but first we have an announcement. We just released a brand new seasoning called That Base. It's an all-purpose seasoning, absolutely incredible. You can get it right now at gulfcoastsmoke.com. Enjoy the video. So we're going to go ahead and start the preparation for our competition, and one of the first things that I want to do is get my chicken in a brine. Just for everybody looking at home, it is 6:53, so I typically would put these right at 7, but just a few minutes is not really going to hurt me. I do want to make sure that the breasts are fully submerged here. Once I get the breasts in there, I'm just kind of pushing everything down. Once this is down in there, I'm obviously trying to stay sanitary. I'm going to take this glove off. And I'm just going to place this right back on top, and this is going to go into the ice chest. I want this to stay super cold until the morning. The next thing I'm going to do is get my rib injection going. So I have a mixture of injection here, and then I have my rib injection liquids. That will pour right in. We dropped a little bit, no big deal. This right here is going to be enough for 3 racks. I'm going to go ahead and use my whisk, get it nice and mixed. So now it's time to inject our ribs. I'm just going to get this a little bit wet, and then that's going to go straight into my injector tube, and then we're just going to start drawing our injection. So I'm just trying to find the bones here and inject right in the middle. I typically like to go 4, if I can, 5 pumps in here, and then we're also going to flip this over in just a minute, and we're going to continue pumping again. We want to make sure that we get that nice plump rib, and I'll show you exactly what I mean in just a second. A cool little tip, hopefully you guys can see this in the GoPro. What you want to do is you put this needle protector back on, you twist, and this comes right off. So then you can come back over here, you can draw some more injection, and then you'll put this needle back on, twist the protector, and then boom, you're ready to rock. So I did 3 pumps here, I believe. I'm going to go 1, 2 more. If I didn't do 3, if I only did 2, or if I did a little bit too much, not a huge deal here. All right, a little bit of leakage, no big deal. So if I turn these ribs over, you guys can kind of see right here, it's really defined because we pumped it up a little bit. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna find the spots that don't look very plump, and I'm gonna hit them again with a little bit more injection. So I definitely wanna make sure not to over inject, but I do wanna make sure that I see nice defined plump pieces of meat in there. For the most part, these are looking really good. Oh, almost got a facial there. All right, so that right there looks really good to me. I'm gonna inject the rest of these ribs, but again, you can see this nice defined piece of meat here. It's pumped up with that injection. I wanna get these back into the Cambro on ice as soon as I possibly can, because I don't wanna lose that injection. So if you guys look at these, they don't look as defined to me, so I do wanna make sure to get that nice injection right in here. And you know, as I do that, just 3 little pumps, you can see that it is a lot more defined here. Now we're gonna go ahead and season the ribs up with our AP seasoning, That Base. You guys saw that we just released that yesterday. We've been competing with this all year long. I truly, I'm not just saying this, I truly feel like this is one of the reasons why we've been doing a lot better. The flavor on this is absolutely incredible. I'll put a link in the description for you guys to try this out. It's brand new. It literally just came out yesterday. So hopefully this video comes out on Tuesday. If it doesn't, it might take a little longer to edit. It just came out this week on May 1st. So this is our brand new seasoning. We do want to get these salts on the meat. I'm just going to let them work their magic all night long. We'll put the rest of it on in the morning. I'm going to do a pretty good layer. on the backside. You guys can see this is a finer seasoning. Most of our other ones are a little bit more coarse, so this is a lot different, and it is an all-purpose. I'm just gonna go ahead and flip this right over. You can kind of see what I'm trying to do in this rib pan here. It's not necessarily called a rib pan, but I'm just calling it my rib pan. I'm trying to get all 3 racks in here when I'm doing that wrap. So now over top. And that's all there is to it on the ribs. We're gonna put them in the Cambro. The Cambro has ice at the bottom and the top. It's gonna keep it cold all night long. Last but not least is our brisket. I like to make sure that it can fit inside of this Rubbermaid container, but after we're done injecting, if we need to retrim, that's completely fine. We can do that. Now the same thing as last time, I have my brisket injection right here. I do like to mix the wet and the dry ingredients at the competition because I just wanna make sure it doesn't clump if it's sitting for overnight or for a long time. Let's see if I can do this without making so much of a mess this time. A little bit better. So now we're just gonna go ahead and whisk again. And once it's mixed up nice and good, we're gonna change needles. We're gonna start drawing. And now we're gonna pump our brisket. So I'm gonna pump this thing as much as it'll allow me to. Let me move this out of the way. I'm gonna pump it as much as it'll allow me to. Even if I know I'm not gonna get my slices from this spot, I personally like to inject everything pretty good because I just want things to cook as evenly as possible. Like I said, kind of be ready and be expecting some juices to go everywhere. I think I told you guys how many tubes I used on the ribs because I'm not even sure myself. But on this brisket, so far we're on tube number 2, and I'm trying to do about half pumps in here. And it's just because I want to try and control everything as much as I possibly can. So this brisket is looking really, really good. That's 2 tubes, and you can see we're not even halfway through this brisket. So we do pump this bad boy up. This right here is my 4th tube, my 5th tube here. So now I want to put a little bit more attention into where I think my slices are going to be coming from. My plan is to get my slices from around here somewhere. So I just want to make sure that I pump it with as much injection as possible. This is my 7th tube here. You can see my brisket is still taking and retaining most of that injection, so I'm completely fine here. After all is said and done, that's our brisket injection. We did 7 full tubes into this brisket, and I probably could do a little bit more, but I'm completely happy and fine with the shape of this brisket. So now I'm just gonna let this sit for a few minutes. I'll drain the excess injection in there, and then we're gonna start seasoning. I do season my brisket fully the night before. So first layer is going to be that base. I'm gonna make sure to get the sides here all the way. Good little layer. I'm gonna go bell all over top. See that black pepper coming through, gorgeous. And also for anybody that's curious, we do not season the bottom of the brisket at all. I wanna see if my wife can come get a close-up on the brisket. You guys can still see that black pepper is popping through, even though she did grind it just a little bit. Last but not least is our Southern hospitality. I know you guys are probably thinking a sweet rub. Yes, a sweet rub. Now that the brisket is pumped up, seasoned up, I'm gonna go ahead and transfer it right over to one of these metal trays here. I got this at HEB. Let's fold this up. Back into the container. The brisket is looking really nice. Now we're just gonna put the top on, put it in the Cambro, and again, we're not gonna touch this again until we get back in the morning. All right, it's 7:05 in the morning. We're going to take our chickens right out of our brine here. I got Travis behind the camera this morning, so appreciate him coming out. I got my 2 birds. Just gonna put them in this pan. Now I'm just gonna go ahead and pour in my chicken injection. We'll put the top here. Now we're gonna get right to it. We'll draw in, needle on. So you see I'm doing really small pokes. I do wanna focus kind of right here in this area. We'll do the 1 full tube in the breast, a few pumps right here in the thigh. I go right here a little bit more just to make that look a little bit better, and we should be good to go. So now I'm gonna put these back in the Cambro on ice until we're ready to cook them. These are gonna go on the drum around 10:30, so it's 7:12. They'll sit with the injection for a little bit, and we'll get ready to cook them in a bit. We put our brisket on at 6 a.m. We put our ribs on at 7:15. We just want to go through and take a look at everything and see how it's looking. If I need to spritz, I will use some duck fat for both the brisket and the ribs, but let's take a look at it together. Pit's running right at 250 degrees, which is great for what we're doing today. I'm gonna pull this rack out just a little bit. The brisket's plumping up, it's looking really good. I am gonna hit this with a little bit of duck fat. On the brisket itself, I want my bark to actually stay soft. I know that sounds crazy, but this is competition cooking, and I want everything to stay soft. I'm also gonna go ahead and spritz the ribs. The ribs are actually looking, to be honest, they're looking really incredible. And this is only after about an hour and 15 minutes or so. So I'm really loving the color here. We might go another 45 minutes. If the color is where we want it to be, we're completely good. It's been right at 3 hours on our brisket. You can see everything is looking really nice. It has a beautiful color on it. I do want it to stay this way. I don't want it to necessarily get black or anything like that. So all I'm going to do is just let this sit for around 15 minutes, dry up a little bit on the top, and then we'll put foil over this and wrap it until it's nice and tender. So I'm not looking for anything too crispy on this brisket. Typically, if it's a backyard brisket, I will want a crispier bark, but this looks perfect. So I know that it's time to pull it. All right, our ribs have been on for just around 2 hours, and the color is exactly where I want. Hopefully you guys can see that because we have one tent over us and then we have this blue cover, so it might be throwing it off, but the color is, in my opinion, absolutely perfect. It's just looking good so far. I love the color. From that injection, you can see the nice plump on these ribs. Now we're gonna go ahead and get the ribs in the pan here. I'll do the bones inward and we'll kind of finagle these around a little bit if we need to. Let's see if this fits better over here. Yeah, probably. Okay, cool. Let's go ahead and throw some rib wrap in here. We'll do 2 sticks of butter here. Sugar in the raw over top. I'm just gonna let these sit for just a second, and then I'm gonna wrap them, and then I'll put them back into the smoker. Under the skin on the breast, I'm going to start with a layer of that base. I'm also going to go ahead and start seasoning the top now. It's a little windy, so I'm hoping it's not a huge deal. I want to make sure to get under the wing first and then come over top with that base. This is our chicken seasoning that we're trying our best to work on. I told you guys the other day I want a little bit more black pepper pop, so I'm going to go ahead and hit. Oh, that's a big gust of wind. Give me just a sec. So, oh, everything's falling. Hold on. Yeah, hopefully you guys see that in camera because, again, this is just real stuff. This is what we go through, and no big deal, but I want that black pepper to pop through. You guys can hopefully see that in the camera. The other thing that I learned the other day on the fly is if you use the back of this spatula, you can actually season the spatula and get the side of your bird pretty good. And it actually worked out really, really well for us the other day, so I kind of like that little trick. Honestly, I couldn't even tell you what made me do it, but it just worked out. So I don't know how I even thought to do this. I promise I never saw anybody do this. My birds are completely seasoned and I'm ready to cook with them. The only other thing that I'm gonna do is I am gonna get some butter and I'll put it in here, and we'll get ready to put that in with the chickens when we cook them. Today we're cooking on our gateway drum. So our gateway's rocking right at 300 degrees. What I am gonna do now is I'm gonna take this lid off. I'm gonna throw an onion and a chunk of mesquite right there on top of the coals. All right, my chickens are fully cooked now. I'm gonna pull both of my breast probes. And now I want to very carefully get my chicken out here. Whoo, that's not good. Now we only have one chicken to work with. That's really bad. Okay, so Now there's no way we can use this. And what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna move carefully the chicken right over here, and I'm gonna ladle some chicken sauce right over top. Okay, chicken is turned in now, and I actually had some problems with my chickens. I dropped one of the halves completely, which pretty much put that one out of the race. And then when I poured the sauce over my chicken, it actually took a lot of my rub off, so I had to improvise. I added a little more seasoning in the end and then a little bit of finishing powder. And in the end, I would say that I do think they tasted really good. I think the chicken was good. Again, we have no idea if that's what they're gonna want, so we'll see when awards come around. Go ahead and check on our ribs now. They are very, very tender. I can feel it. They're tender. I want to go a little bit longer. Let's do this for another 15, 20 minutes and we'll check these again. So it's exactly 1 o'clock. We have 40 minutes that we can turn these ribs in. I want to start looking at them, and they are definitely super duper tender. I can see the bones. Oh yeah. And I'm going to go ahead and start getting my ribs ready. So I'm going to go over top with a little bit of our seasoning here. And then I'm gonna do my best to make some nice slices here. This whole rack is actually really good. I'm probably choosing these 4 right here without this one. What do you think, Sabrina? You agree? Yeah? Let's go ahead and taste it real quick. That's a juicy, really good rib. So I'm gonna put my rib sauce right in here. I'm gonna dunk my rib completely. Then I'm gonna put it right over here. I'm gonna dunk the second one completely. Just gonna go ahead and take these to the smoker, right onto the drum. It's exactly 125. We have exactly 15 minutes to turn in. Don't forget we get that 10-minute after window. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit with some finishing powder here over top of my ribs. One of the things that I wanna make sure to do myself is kind of get it on the backside here too. You never know who's going to, oh, box is flying. Everything's flying out here, man. Danielle comes in clutch. Gotta be very careful here. Okay, ribs are turned in, and now it's time to focus on the brisket. With our ribs, I would say that they turned out pretty good. I like the tenderness. I liked the flavor overall. Well, I don't know. I guess we'll see what the judges think, but now let's focus on the brisket. Right at 2:15, it is time to drain the au jus from our brisket. Brisket's looking pretty good here. You can see that it kind of fanned out a little bit here, and the grain is just, it shrunk up a lot, but I still feel pretty confident that we can get our slices here and we can turn in a good box. Okay, brisket is the only thing that I actually use a brush on, so we're just gonna go ahead and brush our sauce on. Gonna pick it up. Oh, you can see it's super tender. We're just gonna put it right on this rack. So now we have the brisket on the gateway drum. We're just gonna let that sauce set. We'll check it every 5 or so minutes until it's nice and set exactly the way we want. Keep in mind, I'm not sure if anybody else does it this way, but this is exactly how we do our boxing. We're gonna look for our 8 best slices. Let's move these out of the way. Take this one out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Take these last 2 off. I'm going to take this straight over to the smoker. We've got 9 minutes to go. Here, I'm going to pop this. Oh, it's not good. Okay, you good? Redo it.
Seventh place, Rini Gonzalez, Gonzalez Family Barbecue. Fifth place, 68347. Andrew Pena, Full Sand Barbecue. Fourth place, Rini Gonzalez, Gonzalez Family Barbecue. Third place, Bo Daniel, Pelly Bo Nation Barbecue. Second place, 69896. Seventh place, Zach Smith, Meat Locker Biscuits. We go fourth place, Rini Gonzalez, Gonzalez Family Barbecue. Third place, 67695. Alonzo Cantu, Gulf Coast Smoke, and your reserve grand champion, Alonzo Cantu, Gulf Coast Smoke.
Well, as you guys can see, it was a pretty good weekend for us. We had a lot of fun, and hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. There was a lot of problems that we had with this competition. The wind was insane. With the box flew, the foil flew, I dropped the chicken half, we dropped a brisket slice. But at the end of the day, I really truly do think that competitions are kind of won and lost right there at the boxing. So we were able to fix some stuff with our chicken last second. We were able to fix up that brisket box, and everything just turned out really good. We missed first place and a spot in the American Royal by 2 points, which is a little bit disappointing, but obviously we're very excited and we're very happy with the results that we got today. If you guys enjoyed a video like this, you need to let us know in the comments below. It is harder to compete and film at the same time, but for you guys, we're willing to do whatever. As always, we really appreciate you guys tuning into this video. Thanks. The seasonings are good, guys. We'll see you on the next one.